Hello, and thanks so much for joining us. I'm Carol Jenkins. The program is Black America. My guest today is Malik Washington, a teacher, performing artist, and award-winning choreographer. Malik, thanks so much for being with us today. I want to start with what you just said to me, which was that you try to see a Black artist, and I thought you were going to say monthly, yearly,
weekly.
Weekly.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that.
I feel like there's so many Black artists that are out there right now, whether it's visual art, choreographers, singers, performers, actors. Why not try to see one a week? Sometimes I'm lucky enough to see 2 or 3 in a week, depending on what's going on in the city.
Wow, that is amazing. I think that we should all set that as our agenda.
Right.
Now you're quite the esteemed dancer, choreographer in so many things. As we record this, let's talk a little bit about Hell's Kitchen.
Okay.
And then we'll go into how you got to this point.
Yes.
13 Tony nominations.
Yes, congratulations to them.
Camille Brown, the choreographer, and you work closely with her.
Yes.
And you were engaged when it started at the Public Theater in a very small
studio,
theater, right?
Small studio, just, tables, buckets, and chairs, and honing in with Camille and Ricky Tripp, and that was the choreographic team at that time. The dancers were amazing. Energy inside was buzzing. The music was already sensational. And having Miss Alicia Keys there basically almost every day.
Oh, she was
yeah,
every
man,
day.
hands-on,
right?
Very hands-on. Movement, sound, what it should sound like, what it should feel like, and the energy of each piece. You don't really get to see that a lot in Broadway and musical theater, so it was a nice moment to be a part of.
Did you have a reaction when you saw the Tony Awards? I mean, and we know that...
I expected it.
You expected? Yeah.
I expect it. That's a show that I've seen it twice in 1 week, and I wanted to go see it again. I don't really do that for a lot of shows. The energy in it it's New York. It's vibrant. You want to get up and sing these songs. You want to dance. I think the only other show that I felt that is probably MJ the Musical. It's because you know the music.
Right.
It changes your body in a different way. You couldn't even sit there and just sit still if you wanted to. Hell's Kitchen does that.
Right. And you said that you had to make a decision whether to follow it to Broadway or to do other things. Talk to us about that.
Sometimes there's a choice.
Right.
And you got to make a choice. And I made one of, do I continue my dancing career or do I keep leaning into the choreographic career? I already knew where Hell's Kitchen was going to go, but I wanted to take my stab at being in a show with musical, and I tried Soul Train. And we went to San Francisco for all of last summer for about 4 months and won a couple of awards from San Francisco as well.
Right.
I had a great time.
That's great. Well, I think, the choices you either had to just be choreographer, but you decided you had a little more dance in you.
I do.
I'm sure there's a lot more dance. Talk to us about how you started, because you were very early identified as a dancer.
My mother would say I started dancing out of the womb.
Uh-huh.
I was already in there pushing and moving and
Right.
looking up choreo. But it wasn't until about 7 years old. Followed
The late age of 7.
Late age of 7,
Right.
started with my godmother, and she went to Broadway Dance Center, run by Frank Hatchett at the time.
Right.
And I tagged along every weekend. Sat in the back,
Right.
learned all the steps, and they had a talent show, and I asked to be a part of it at about 8. And she let me be in it. I danced, and the next weekend they put me in every class. Ballet, jazz, tap, and that was the start.
Well, I was telling you that both my son, when he was younger, and now my grandson have, done stints at the Broadway Dance Center and also the Harlem School of the Arts,
Yes.
where you got some of your training as well.
I went there after Broadway Dance Center. It came to a time that my mother thought it was best for me to switch locations, find something that was a little bit more connected to my culture as well. And Harlem School of the Arts was the perfect fit. I had amazing teachers like Kim Greer, Crystal Hall Glass, Miss Curry, Frances A. Rhymes. I want to say their names because I love to give them the respect of the hard work and the diligence that they did with us as students and as young people They didn't just teach us dance, they taught us like valuable lessons of life. And I'm able to reap those benefits now.
And you're teaching at Broadway Dance, and you know, I mean, this is in addition to the Broadway stuff
Yeah.
and the San Francisco and all of that. You know, you are now shaping the new dance teams that will appear on Broadway and
Yeah.
elsewhere. Talk to us about the difference between, you know, being the student and being the teacher.
To be a master teacher, you still are a student. You're still learning every day from what the youth is creating and reinventing when it comes to movement, styles, mashing things together. So I like to watch them. I like to be close to them, to give them information that I was given, but also to infuse the information and inspire them to make more.
Huh. Well, I think we have a video from the Broadway Dance Center.
Yes.
That's something you choreographed. Let's take a look at that now.
Okay.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I
Thank
love
you.
that. And you do have dance in you.
I got a couple more years.
You have a few more years there. Tell us about this piece.
Honestly, I make them up on the spot. I think it's one of the things that I enjoy about dance, that it's almost like being a lyricist. If you're really good at it, you can kind of just create it on the spot. I kind of go with the vibe of the room and the energy of the class. That day it was a smaller group, and we just kind of wanted to build something that felt different from being fast-paced or anything. More intention of some of the movements and ideas, playing with shapes and colors. It's more of like an imagination station of a place when I make movement. No strict rules or regulations.
Well, talk to us about, because I'm always, I find it remarkable that dancers can remember the steps. You know, so many complicated things. How do you do that as you're designing a dance and sharing it with your dancers to make sure that everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing?
I think choreography, or learning choreography, is kind of like being in school. Everyone learns differently. So I try to give it in different ways to different students. For some people, they need to think of a story. Maybe the seed is planted in the earth and then it grows up 5 feet and then you pull out the weed. So the movement then starts to be enriched through movement, emotion, and intention. And then some people just need counts, you know? So different minds,
Right.
different sides of the brains remember differently. If I can give you a platter of ways to learn, it might make it much easier for you to let it infuse into your skin.
But are you writing it down? Are you giving them paper? You're not doing any of that. It's just absorb it, get it into your body,
Yep.
and do it.
And try.
Right.
I think the best thing that you can always do is try. A lot of people get scared when they see me dance or do movement. They're like, I can't ever do that. I'm like, you won't know until you try. Once you do that, then you can make a choice of yes or no, if you want to continue or not, but try at least.
So you've won so many awards, including the Princess Grace Award in 2022 for choreography.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Princess Grace Award is given out to people that are emerging choreographers, dancers, artists, costume designers, and this foundation just loves to help artists grow, people that need to be seen more. And I got it for choreography, and very grateful for it.
Well, that's a big thing. So you worked with Camille Brown before for Colored Girls.
Yes.
Talk to us about that experience.
Camille A. Brown. It's like, I could say that's like my big sister.
Right.
Yeah, one of my best mentors that I've ever had in my life. I've met her when I was a senior in high school. And then I joined her company 13 years later. And then inside of being in her company, she asked me to come and assist her in a couple of shows. And one of them happened to be for Colored Girls on Broadway. And she made me an associate on that. And that was my first time working on Broadway with credits as an associate choreographer. So I thought my first time wasn't stepping on stage, but it was supporting the women on that stage. And it was an amazing accomplishment to support Black women on the stage of Broadway.
Right, right. That was some show. And then you worked with her again at for Fire Shut Up in My Bones at the Metropolitan Opera.
Yes.
Charles Blow's story.
Charles M. Blow, Fire Shut Up in My Bones, with Terrence Blanchard as the composer, and Camille A. Brown as the choreographer and co-director. So one of those moments that you kind of don't get to have. It's very special in history. First Black composer at the Met. Very important. Terrence was an amazing person to work with, but I was really amazed by seeing Camille and the hard work that she put in, not just in her direction, but also in the choreography and how the two worlds blend.
So Camille, we know, has got to be, she's a mentor of yours and she's given you credits and all, but in addition to Camille, who else in the dance world do you admire?
That list is very
I know,
long.
I'm putting you on the spot.
But
right?
it's okay. I don't mind.
Okay.
I would say Kyle Abraham, Darrell Moultrie, Milton Myers, Desmond Richardson.
Tell us a little bit about these people.
Kyle Abraham is the director and choreographer of Abraham in Motion. I danced for Kyle for many years, for about 7 to 8 years in my earlier years. And he really helped me with creating vulnerability in my body and my intention of being a man in life. Milton Myers, the director of Jacob's Pillow for over 30 years, was a teacher of mine for many years. I went to Jacob's Pillow, I'm an alumni, and I kept going back for residencies with all of these choreographers.
So you mentioned taught you how to be a man, and then talk to us about that, because I think you've written about that and to say a man in dance.
Yeah.
So let's explore that for a while.
I think being a Black man in dance and being heterosexual and having that power and not wanting to spread the toxic masculinity of some of the traumas that I have gone through in my life. My father was incarcerated, my uncle was incarcerated, my brother was incarcerated. I didn't want to follow those tropes, so dance was something that gave me another outlet to show my emotions. But anger is not the only one that I have. There's a softness that is there that you are afraid to sometimes show for being teased or being looked at as being different. And Kyle was very accessible in helping me open that up, to use that in dance, to power that as the momentum to move me forward, and helped me tremendously in my approach to dance.
So I understand that you were the only Black male dancer in a musical called Punch Drunk.
An immersive off-Broadway show called Sleep No More that I did about, I want to say 6 or 7 years ago, and I was the first African-American male that they hired.
Really?
Yeah.
And that show is still running?
They're about to close after almost like over 10 years, a full decade of a show that was only supposed to be open 4 months.
And I'm sure that you were a part of extending its run.
Yes, my talent and my talent alone. But such great, amazing artists have walked through that building, and some of them that I am still interacting with currently.
But down in the meatpacking industry, that's one that I haven't seen yet. But
yeah, it's by 27th between 10th and 11th.
Right.
So in the back, but definitely like raw, grungy. If you have a chance to go see it before it closes in June, you should.
Your mom had so much to do with your exposure to various aspects of the dance world.
Yes,
So
she did.
talk to us about her influence on
Bianca Smith. My mother is one of the greatest supports that I've ever had in my entire life. Bianca Smith has done tremendous work, but as we always say, it takes a village. So her, my grandmother, my aunts did a lot of tremendous work on just raising me right with good morals, always taking me to my dance classes. But the greatest thing I think she's ever done was, in my moments of hard times, give me the raw truth. When I've been fired from jobs or let go, and she's like, "Oh, they're worried that you can do this all by yourself. So go do it. Just show them again." And the next day I was at an audition, and with her energy, I would get the job easily. Of course, the talent also helps, but putting the battery in a person's back is very helpful.
Right, right. And she was the one who emphasized that you needed to be in a Black culture.
Yeah.
That, because so much else that happens is because you're a Black man in.
I think it's more just the idea of, the stereotypes. Especially when I was younger, she would maybe catch ears of someone saying, "Oh, yeah, well, he's just getting a solo because he's the Black kid." And that shifts how we're seen or perceived. But she was like, "No, he got it because he worked hard." So she wanted to go to a place where that wasn't the case and to see how it might flourish in those spaces. And I still did. So she knew that there was talent there. And I appreciate her for that.
And a part of that is the Harlem School of the Arts, which
Yes.
is incredible, incredible work.
Yes.
So talk to us about the being fired, though.
It happens, I think it was just the time that I needed to separate myself from a company. And at the time when I was let go, I questioned if I was a good dancer. I think the hardest thing after getting a job is knowing when to leave a job or knowing when to depart, and how to re-find yourself again to go and activate yourself to go look for the next job. But since that happened, I have a rule. I don't leave a job until I have a job.
Right, right. Yeah, I think that was what my parents told me many, many years ago as
Yes.
well. Right, right. But Soul Train, let's talk about that, right, right.
Train.
And I actually remember the original Soul Train.
The story is based off of Don Cornelius and his amazing rise of creating Soul Train. I think the things that we're talking about right now about Black culture and pushing it forward on television or in musical theater, we got to see him do that for 3 decades. And that story is beautiful. Camila Forbes is the director, and Camille Brown is the choreographer, and Dominique is the writer. So we have so many amazing Black women working on it. That's why I think it's probably one of the best shows that I've ever seen.
Yes, yes.
And pushing the culture forward. The style, clothing-wise, is like top tier. Dee Dee, who is nominated for 3 Tonys this year, is also on our costume design team, and it's beautiful.
But what is the prospect, though, for professional Black male dancers? What do you think? What's the sense of it? Better, worse, challenging?
Challenging.
Challenging.
Challenging. I think you have to juggle a lot of things. But I think being an artist in general in musical theater, Broadway, contemporary dance is something that is challenging. But they say dancers are the athletes of God, Albert Einstein.
Wow, I love that. Dancers are the athletes of God.
Gods.
Huh.
Yeah.
So you're mentoring dancers, young dancers. Talk to us about how that works. How young are your mentees?
They will go from freshmen in high school to seniors in college, and even people that are out of college. It kind of has a wide range. I kind of don't go younger than 14, just me.
Right.
But I have like younger cousins and family members that are dancers that I will look after. But I work in a mentee program with Camille Brown and Dancers. There's a program that I work with called Move NYC that is run by Nigel Campbell and Chanel Da Silva that I've been working with for 9 years. And About 15 of our students are graduates of Juilliard, Point Park University, Purchase, USC Kauffman.
Wow.
So some of the top schools in America, and they're all thriving.
Right, right. And so what psychologically do you tell them? We know that you're giving them great technique, but what psychologically do you share with them?
There's something that they talk about in Move NYC that I've now just started to use. It's called GIST, get your S together. And telling them the real deal of what it's like to be a dancer. It's not always just what you do in the studio, but outside of the studio. How do you interact when you go to a dance show? How do you introduce yourself to another choreographer that you are interested in working with? Do you tell them that you're interested in working with them? So little things that will push them out of their comfort zone, but push them forward into their careers.
And for you, in terms of, I know you can't divulge the secret thing that's happening, but what's the image you have of your ultimate success in this field?
To be happy. I think a lot of people think about money, wealth, and things like that. I just want to be happy. I want to be doing things that I actually want to do, not being stuck in places that tolerate me. I want to be appreciated in those spaces.
Huh. And you think you're finding those spaces?
Easily. The community that I have around me would never let me be in spaces that don't accept me and appreciate me.
Huh. Well, it is a pleasure to be with you today.
You too.
I can't wait to hear the good news. Share with us as we go out. We're going to play a dance,
Yes.
but I want you to address the young dancer who may be watching you right now, and just share your words of wisdom for that young black male or female dancer.
Go for it. Do whatever you want. Try it. Don't be scared. Fear is not real. It is something that you are creating on your own. Take your time. It is a marathon, not a sprint.
Right, right. And where do they find you?
You can find me at Instagram. It's my name, Maleek Washington, MALEEK_Washington. Yes.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All righty. And thanks to Maleek Washington, a teacher, performance artist, and award-winning choreographer, for being with us today. That's it for us at this time. Thanks to you for watching. I'm Carol Jenkins. The program is Black America. We'll see you the next time. I'm going to leave you with this video by Artist Kamau, choreographed by Maleek. Thanks for being with us.
Never changes, until I look away. Until I look away.
I need somebody to come and free my people, to come and feed my people, to make them eat. They're starving, sitting at. I need somebody to come and free my people, to come and feed my people, to make them eat. They're starving, sitting at the feast.
Where the best is, 100 miles from where the rest is. Some of them hungry and restless, cause they had to run from the resting. Wasn't trying to get arrested or rest. Eternally down where the rest left. A lot of us wanna get down, never left less. Less feel less event last, that's the best threat. Better make a brother breathless. Make a gold necklace. Better leave a checklist. Put the fear of God in your chest to sit. Where the best is, they're addressing it. Investigate, invested in, no vest in it. With the chest exposed to the end, cause the rest is gold.
I need somebody to come and free my people, to come and feed my people, to make them eat. They're starving, sitting at. I need somebody to come and free my people, to come and feed my people, to make them eat. They're starving, sitting at.
Eyes on the full moon. It never changes, until I look away. Until I look away. Don't you know, talking about a revolution sounds like a whisper. Eyes up in the night.
Who the best in the cellar? Who's got the keys in the cellar? Who's gonna sell out? Who put the keys in the cellar? Who's gonna sell them? Who's the best Cinderella? Who's shallow? Who's cello? Which one gonna make it to Coachella? Which one gonna end up in the cold check? Who got the code to the cold and the cold in the cell?
I need somebody to come and free my people, to come and feed my people, to make them eat. They're starving. never changes, changes until I look away. Until I look away.